Okay, so you know what? I do like to start on time and people will pop in because I know everybody's time is so valuable. Goodness gracious, there's so much going on in the world today. And the fact that you guys take this moment out to have time with Mary Esther once a month is so awesome. So today I want to go ahead and introduce you to Mary Esther Gilbert, but first, we're going to be talking about something that hasn't been brought up in the past. A lot of people are aware of it and wonder maybe what is it that I could do to help resolve these issues? And it's degenerative health issues, you guys. And who else to be talking about this better than anybody is Mary Esther Gilbert. But let me go ahead and give you first a little bit about her background because I got to tell you, I've known her for what, 6 years now, and it gives me goosebumps every time I even get in the area around her. She's got that feeling, that aura that she puts out to everybody. And she has, and I didn't even know this about her till I got to know her. It's probably a year went by that she's a black belt. So you guys be careful, watch out. I think it even went higher than that. But this is a little bit about her bioprofessional profile, and this is well worth taking some notes on. And anyway, Mary Esther Miranda Gilbert, I hardly ever use your middle name there, but she has several initials behind her name, the MSC, the HN, the BSC, and the NSP. I want to go on more because this almost sounds like a song, And then she is a holistic nutrition scientist, national healing specialist, and author renowned for her work in preventative health, anti-aging, and whole body wellness. Now, she has over, I think, I don't know, you might be going on 50 years of experience here, Mary Esther, but I don't want to age you, in nutritional science, physiology, and alternative medicine research, integrating modern science with ancient healing right along with that. She has several education and honors. I mean, you guys could go Google her and you're going to see 5 pages of very interesting things about Mary Esther Gilbert. She is the founder of the True Health Mastery Institute of Holistic Personal Health Management. Now, that's a mouthful, but she also teaches and develops the True Health Mastery System. And you can find her on her podcast. You can find her on YouTube. And you can also find her on holisticchoices.com. Somebody pop that in the chat box there. That would be great. But she has done so many things to help mankind get their lives better health conscious about themselves. And she doesn't just do this willy-nilly. She works and combines all of every research that she does with peer-reviewed scientific research and indigenous healing wisdom. Now, that you bring those together and you have an amazing lady, Mary Esther Gilbert. Now, I want to and she also has her personal philosophy on the way people age and the way people should be taking care of themselves. But I think when she talks, she pretty much goes through every single bit of that as she speaks. If you've never heard Mary Esther Gilbert before, please pay attention, get your notepad ready, take notes, because this is going to be very interesting today. So there are several different types of degenerative disorders. So, Mary Esther Gilbert, there's your introduction. I love you so much. I'm so glad to have you here. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about what really are degenerative disorders? And then I've got about 5 more questions for you. So go
Of
ahead.
course.
Mike's
Let me
yours.
bring them up so everyone can see what we're doing. Oops, I
Oh,
have to make
sure.
sure I share here. And yeah, I'm going to call this up before I say anything else. I don't see the share. Oh, there it is. It used to be green and now it's just black and white. All right,
They're
here we
changing
go.
everything.
I know. So This is going to be a doozy. I mean, you submitted 5 questions and 2 sub-questions. And I looked at that and I smiled. I thought, oh boy, we're going to really get into it now. But as I was preparing the educational document we're presenting tonight in response to your questions, Sherry, I realized that I really have to try to shorten it because it would be a book. Every time I sit down to write a report, it turns into a book, right? So I'm going to be summarizing as much as I can, but if there are any questions along the way, feel free to jot them down. That way we can answer them at the end. I'll do my best to make sure we have time to do that because I always look forward to it and we hardly ever have time to do that. So before I keep
I'll watch
rambling,
the clock. I'll watch the clock on this,
okay.
okay?
Yeah, I look at the time on my computer here too.
Oh, good,
All right,
good.
so what are degenerative disorders? Now, this is going to be broken down into 3 sections according to the other 2 sub-questions you submitted, right? So basically, it's just the impairment or the disruption of the normal functioning that your body does every day and its inability to recover because you go into this mode where there are nutrient deficiencies and then the cells are looking for the nutrients they need to function correctly. But if they can't find it, then it steals from other tissues and other proteins in the body. And so sometimes the DNA can get impaired that way also because it has to dip into some of its gene codes in order to provide something that's in a system that's more life threatening. So that's constantly going on. And if you're not if you're not properly and correctly and completely nourished, then you're going to have deficiencies over time. And all you have to do is just eat a huge variety of foods. I have a nutritional synergy system that is easy to do that with, right? So, but yeah, I've been doing this for 47 years and I've been using my system for that long because all other nutritional systems are just inadequate. They don't provide the full range of these wonderful phytochemical compounds that our drops have. We need those extra nutrients that aren't even considered essential, but I think they should be essential. So it's the diminishing functioning because of the nutrient deficiencies that become chronic, and you're consuming your own system trying to provide for the more critical systems, right? So it's an ongoing battle. Your body undergoes this progressive damage, and then the capacity to repair that damage lessens over time because of the nutrient deficit. So you have loss of body mass, a wasting away. At first, you may not notice it at the macro scale, but it begins at the cellular level. Things start malfunctioning slowly, hardly noticeable. You might get some minor symptoms, and those symptoms will progress to larger, more noticeable symptoms, and different body systems will start giving problems. So over time, this is going to present a very painful degenerative condition. You'll keep losing your ability to function. So all this is going on at the DNA level. Your gene codes are being confused and damaged. So your body has to figure out how to unconfuse these gene sequences so that the cells can properly function, right? So there's an increasing amount of inflammatory reactions that happen when you have cellular damage going on, all these little micro injuries, and they're detected by the nerve and hormonal signaling, and it triggers the immune cells. And the only thing you have to go on at the macro level is leading to pain. And that can escalate. It can escalate all the way to a full-blown diseased, incapacitating condition. So you're affecting more than one interdependent interactive system that's resulting in all these multiple degenerating health conditions eventually. So that is the only way that I have found, like you said, Sherry, all the scientific research, and then you take the wisdom of the indigenous healers, which science agrees with now. Back in the 50s and 60s, the scientists were saying, well, let's disprove what these myths are all about. But one by one, botanical by botanicals, body system by body system, they began to realize that these ancient healers that passed on knowledge from generation to generation, noticing their causes and effects, experimenting with various botanicals. And so when these scientists finally figured out that, okay, they were right, these botanicals really do address the problems in these
And
different systems.
and isn't that true? What Mary Esther Gilbert just said right there, you guys are noticing this more and more on social media. I am so pleased to see that. You got to pick and choose. There's some of those out there are kind of out of bounds. But most of them, the thing is that they're bringing this to light now. People are waking up to it. Thank you so much for saying that, Mary Esther.
Oh, yeah. It was so exciting even way back when, when I started in the 70s, and even more exciting now because more and more research is being done and continuously shows what these botanicals can really do. So this is your sub question. You wanted to know why these conditions are important to understand. It's such a great question. So we have to understand, that the body functions on nutrients, nothing else. Nothing else is going to pave the way to a worry-free health, right? So you don't have to worry about your body. Just take care of your body and it will take care of you. It'll last and last and last. You'll be able to enjoy a much more higher functioning, a happier, exciting, more intelligent life. You'll be able to interact. You'll be able to just be the higher version of yourself, the way you're supposed to be. So the missing nutrient factors the body requires in order to maintain proper system functioning. That is the main thing. That's the only thing I bolded other than the subtitles throughout this whole thing, because you have to remember that when your body starts breaking down, you look for the missing nutrient factors, and everything has to work in synergy. You can't isolate, nutrients. You can't just take one capsule of one nutrient. That's not going to work. The body understands complexity of molecules, and it picks and chooses what it needs at every given moment. There's 39 trillion cells and about 5,000 functions in every single cell in every single second of our lives. That's how much our bodies need these nutrients to continuously come in, right? Doesn't mean you have to eat all day and all night, but just give your body enough of the full range of nutrients by the end of the day, and it will know what to do. So it's important to understand that when you start losing your physical abilities, the functioning of one or more systems will start malfunctioning, and they all originate at that cell level, the level we can't see, but we can feel, and this is going to be because of the chronic nutrient starvation. And these conditions, they become progressively more serious over time. The body's forced to catabolize its own tissues, like I just said, and it results in more and more degeneration or wasting away. So when you correct your nutrient deficiencies, you're preventing the worsening of a condition and you're reversing the degenerative process. You're correcting what's happening at the cell level. You're repairing any damaged DNA and any other organelles that are in the cells, the protein manufacturing sites, the mitochondria, energy production organelles and other things that package and disassemble and reassemble and detoxify at the cellular level. All those things need nutrients in order to make sure those little organelles are functioning properly. So, it can correct itself back toward its proper functioning. It takes time because the degenerative process does take time to waste the body away. And so it doesn't happen overnight. All of a sudden you eat a good meal and you're thinking, okay, I'm corrected. Everything is functioning better. We know that's not true. It takes a long time for the body to start repairing the cells, the trillions of cells that have gone wrong. It just takes time. But if you're consistent with your nourishment, and I'm going to go over the basic essential nutrients in response to another question that you had. So you have to understand what's going on at the biomolecular level. Vitamins, minerals, phytonutrient-rich whole food molecular complexes. These are all whole complexes. You can't isolate any one of them. So they all act in synergy, and it requires enzymes. So I'll go into that a little bit more to explain how enzymes work. So degenerative, stop me anytime, Sherry, if you want to say anything.
No. As a matter of
Anybody.
fact, I think if I stopped you, it would make things go a little bit longer. But everything that you're saying here, you know what I like about this? You have it written on a PDF, and the fact that people get this and they can go back over it and review it again is just amazing what you've done. And the two little, well, to me, they're little questions, but you have expanded on those so much. It's just amazing. And it's what I knew I would get from you. I just knew that. So no, keep going.
Yeah, it just spills out, But So these degenerative conditions, they're because of chronic deficiencies. You're missing these electrically active essential nutrients that continually spark these enzymes into all of these metabolic actions, multiple trillions of actions, right? So nutrient deficiencies that result in lowered levels of these electrical impulses, or as we know in with the APL drops, the electron transferring process, negatively charged particles within those cells. And this is part of the way they communicate. And so if you have nutrient deficiencies, you're impairing all these vital inter and intracellular communications, like impairing the nutrient transport and delivery. So all of this movement in the body requires the electrical current. Miscommunication or disruption of communications. These are the electrical impulses that the DNA understands. And all of our cells, like the hormonal system, the nervous system, the immune system, they all work together and they're all talking to each other in a language we don't know, which constantly monitor all these system processes in every other area of the body. So the impairment of these responses to directions of activating or deactivating these normal processes and producing all these stress chemicals in response to stress, it all leads to cellular damage or injury. So the impaired ability to complete the communication pathways, to complete a task, or to complete a thought. So this is what a degenerative condition does. It impairs all of this communication that causes the body to degenerate. I like to show little pictures now and then. This is a nerve network glow. Obviously, it's a computer generated, rendition. But since the universe is composed in similar ways, I mean, there's no variations in how the universe is put together. There's the natural forces at work and the communication that happens between planets and also within the atoms within any living thing. So it's all looking the same. You can be looking at a brain neural connection here, or you can be looking at the stars and how looks pretty similar when you see renditions of the different suns in the universe and how they throw out their light and communicate together that way too. So we're part of this. We are part of this flow. We have to stay in the flow, this electrical flow of light energy active foods. So here's another picture of the nerve to nerve synapses. And of course, we have billions and billions of nerve cells that are connected, or they are so closely placed. Like as you can see in this picture down here, here's the synapse and this receptor. This electrical impulse has to jump here to go to the next nerve cell, as you can see over here. So we've got all these dendrites, all these electrical impulses going through the axon. Fatty acids, by the way, are very important to maintain this axon. Once this is damaged, if you're eating the wrong fats or you're not eating the right fats, then this is going to be damaged, and there'll be a cutoff of a communication pathway that your brain has to rewire and find another way to send signals. So this is one of many problems that we have in our health, and they're pretty small, as you can see. I mean, these tiny things are like 4 micrometers up to 100 micrometers, and that's still pretty tiny. So these are very, very small. We're talking about micro things going on. If you really want to get nerdy, like I do, you can look at the physiology of the cell and see what all these parts of our nerve cell are composed of. And each different cell in every part of the body is different, right? So again, I'm trying to maintain everyone with the idea that they need nourishment to maintain all of this terrain that's going on that we can't even see. And so every cell in the body, including the nerve cells, they have the organelles, the mitochondria, energy producing factories, the protein packaging and repackaging sites, the detoxification sites. All these different organelles do different things. But inside the nucleus, there's our DNA. So our DNA is the instructions for the complete body. Every single cell and every single system, the DNA knows how to fix. It has the information for all of them, how to make sure everything in the body is operating. So the DNA is not limited to a particular type of cell, is what I'm saying.
That was a very important statement. The DNA has the ability to fix everything. It's like your jumper cables to your body.
Yeah, it has all the information it needs to repair the DNA of other cells in other body systems. So, you're not just isolated to, I mean, if you just totally destroy one system, then the other DNA in the other systems know how to help restore it. Okay, so continuing with the answer to this question up here, why these conditions are important to understand, just a little more here. So we have a degenerative condition that are also due to the habitual intake of all of this junk food, molecularly distorted or damaged foodstuffs. They're not even foods, they're foodstuffs, poor renditions, non-nourishing, non-hydrating, even synthetic beverages. I have a whole YouTube that covers the toxicity problems with synthetic beverages, junk food, everything that's not freshly harvested and freshly slaughtered, in animal derived proteins. If they're not healthy, if the soils aren't healthy, if they're not in part of this energy flow, this ecology, right, then there's going to be problems. So they have to be healthy so we can be healthy. So anything that's heat and chemically altered, they have little or no energy and no nutrient value. So your body takes it in, evaluates it, converts it to body fat, or tries to eliminate it, or stores it in body fat tissues because it's a storage area. And so sometimes someone can be very toxic because of the junk food they've been eating for many years, and it's just stored in that fat area, waiting to be burned off, but it can't be burned off because it's not the right molecule. So along comes the phytochemical complexes in our plant kingdom, though, that can help break off, these molecules and render them break them down to the point where they can be eliminated, so they can be stuck in the body for years. But if we don't have any plant botanicals, in our diet, then they're just going to stay there and become more and more toxic and cause more and more health problems. So they affect many different body systems. And then consuming biologically incompatible molecules, they promote toxicity, inflammation, oxidative stress, meaning, the cells are degenerating and decomposing, and damaging the DNA. They do, when cells try to replicate and they run into these kinds of toxicity problems in the body, then it's going to damage the DNA too. There go our instructions on how to be healthy, right? And again, the plant kingdom has many, many answers to help repair that damage. They're extremely complex molecules. People don't understand just how compatible plants are to our own DNA. So their DNA is very compatible to ours, and our DNA can choose which segments of plant DNA to use to repair its own DNA.
And that is so much in line with what we do with our APLGO drops. And everything that you said right there actually said what that next question was. How does this impact individuals, family, and society? Well, all that stuff, anything that is making our bodies not function the way they're supposed to, is going to affect individuals, all of our families. So, yeah. I mean, you can even skip over that one unless you've got that one in here. You literally explain why that could affect our bodies, why it affects our families. You see that question I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I do address it in a different way. So I have more to say about that.
Yeah.
But it's shorter, than this section is. I know I'm just, very aware of how I tend to lengthen things. But so, we've got to consume the biologically compatible molecules. We don't want to promote toxicity or inflammation or this kind of stress on the body or damage our DNA, our precious, precious DNA. So, you can't be disrupting all these different functions that lead to these degenerative conditions. So we've got to understand how the body works, at least understand that you have to nourish it correctly, and the drops go a long way. They have a listing of all the botanicals, that are so good for us. And we are lucky to have the genetic instructions of those botanicals, and the protein manufacturing sites and the negatively charged particles. That is the fundamental, most important thing to being healthy, is to have an electrical flowing in the body that's continuous and not impaired, So I'm not going to read everything, but here's a nice, wonderful chart. I just love these charts. You have these fundamental nourishing, nutrients that you need. And I broke it down into the phytochemical complexes. And this particular slideshow, I have a video on it. We went over it with Carmen, and we put it on I don't know where else it was posted, but it's on my YouTube channel. So these are just the slides from it, but you can see how I think I'm jumping the gun a little bit. And if anybody went to the Texas event that I spoke at with the slideshow, then you probably recognize it. But you have every single one of these drops except for the 19th one, but you can download a free document on that on the APL webpage on my website, but we'll talk about
And,
that in a
and
moment.
and we do have that on our website, and Tina might even have that in the learning pages as well.
Okay,
But
so it's a
I
good
know we have
review.
that, yeah,
Yeah, and people
in
who haven't
school.
seen it.
She may have that in school. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. But if someone hasn't seen this, then they can view the video and I narrate, all these different slides. So you can go here and say, okay, these are all the ingredients and these are all the body systems that this particular drop addresses. And these are the phytochemical compounds that are so important that help alleviate or make sure that they're functioning right at the cell level, all these different things that it does for the body. So I went through all the drops, so you can go and view this and watch the video and follow along. So yeah, this one needs to be out in the forefront of people who want to understand why the drops are working so well. So then also the next section is complete proteins, which means animal-derived proteins. Plant proteins are incomplete. They don't have all 9 essential amino acids, growth and repair, your immune system, all kinds of wonderful things that our protein category does. Whole food carbohydrates, these starches, they're long chains of glucose molecules that are broken down slowly. So they're great for diabetes or any other blood glucose problem. So the body will break them down and gradually, it's like time release energy, and without disturbing the pancreas or making blood sugar hike up and down kind of thing. So whole food carbohydrates are great. That means the whole grains and the beans, and the root vegetables. And then the plant fats and animal fats, people can't leave out one or the other. Our bodies need both. So they're great for these problems. I don't know if you can read really fast what this is, but I want to breeze this right along here. It's already at 5:27. Oh no. Okay. Food-derived vitamins and mineral complexes. I always use the word complexes because I don't want anyone to think they can isolate any nutrient and have it work like the complexes do. Whole food complexes that contain vitamins and minerals. So, I'm just making sure people understand that they've got to have the whole spectrum of nutrients. They can't just eat only carbs or eat only proteins or eat, only fats. Those are terrible, terrible fad diets and they don't work well. So raw foods, captured light. Raw foods have that spark from captured sunlight, these biophotons. Those are the ones that activate the electrical impulses and transfer it to our bodies. Our bodies need those electrical impulses. And then that's what activates the enzyme. So there's this chain reaction. So when you go out in the sun, your body stores light in your skin or in other areas of your body, obviously. But then when you go and eat a raw food, that's pretty much that similar effect because we're eating the light literally, and we're absorbing that light and we're utilizing that light to activate the enzymes, So we are electrical beings. There's no doubt about that. You can ask any physicist, and stay hydrated, get out in the sun a few minutes, every day, or at least a few minutes every other day, as often as you can, but don't stay out there too long. If you're highly nourished with botanicals and other protective phytonutrients, you won't have to worry so much about damaging your skin out in the sunlight, kind of thing. Sunlight is good for you, basically. All right, so you don't want to be dehydrated. You don't want to shrink all of your cells. Your cells need to be plump, full of minerals and fluids going in and out of the cells. They have to stay plump. The plasma in them has to, not dry up. So, you don't want to be chronically dehydrated because then your cells will literally shrink up and die, kind of thing. And oxygen, of course, exercise, just deep breathing, whatever you need to do to get that oxygenation to all of your cells. Okay, so this is a summary of what I just went over. It's critical to understand these things. The cells, they're small as units of light. And of course, I already mentioned how many cells we have. Malfunctioning, it's a cascade effect if you don't have a complete range of these nutrients, causing the cells to malfunction, or any other physical injury. When you're injured, if you're highly nourished, you're going to rapidly heal. I've had many athletic injuries, especially in the martial arts. The accidents happen, but I was the one who healed the fastest out of all of my fellow martial artists. So a lot of them became my clients, and then they healed fast too. And we weren't always getting injured, but sometimes it happens accidentally. But anyway, if you're physically injured, then make sure you get all these nutrients in you so that your body can repair it very quick. So, the degenerative process happens slowly over time, days, weeks, months, years. Your body puts up with an awful lot before it gives out, kind of thing. So yeah, you want to maintain your most critical systems, the brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, liver, and pancreas. Otherwise, you won't stay alive. Other tissues are expendable. If you have arthritis or degenerative joint problems or weakened muscles, if you're fatigued all the time, if you can't focus, those are all things that are expendable. So we have to maintain our most precious, life-giving organs. And then after that, you have to make sure you're getting enough nutrients to maintain the other, areas of the body. So you don't want to cannibalize your own body by starving yourself either. You have to have these nutrients coming in. People who say, they want to lose weight, my weight loss clients always were surprised. I get to eat all of this? Yeah, if you exercise and if you, watch the balance of nutrients. Yes, if you eat a lot of raw foods, enzyme active foods, your body will step up its metabolism and, blah, 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 blah. So they got to eat a lot more than they thought they could. They didn't feel starved or deprived. They had the energy to exercise. That's so important. If you don't nourish yourself enough, you're not going to be able to even move to improve your circulation. And if you don't have adequate circulation, then you will be in a degenerative, diseased state. Okay, so the body needs everything. Some people don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't create the human body. But so you have to build up a certain amount of nutritional health knowledge if you want to live. If you want to live, then follow me, is like what I tell people sometimes. So you don't want any drastic measures that may result in any worsened health conditions. And always, discuss this condition with your medical practitioners. Always tell them what you're doing. They need to be educated sometimes too. They're not taught all of this in their medical schools.
So let me ask a question here because I've been watching people on the screen here. How many of you took a deep breath when Mary Esther Gilbert said you need to take in the oxygen, take a deep breath? How many of you did that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's interesting what you can get people to do inadvertently just talking about it. I saw
Well, that's a natural response. People forget to breathe. When someone says just, in passing, like I did, oxygenation, getting oxygen to your brain and your muscles and all your cells so they can do their work. Oxygen is like a combustible, and it also helps contribute to the actions that the cell continues to work on, to keep you alive. But if you want to get nerdy, I'm not going to read everything here, but the anatomy of a cell, if you want to know, I think this was a college student that wrote this up, I think it was published in Stanford Medical Magazine. I think that's where I got the picture. But, they're all coded. And so you can go down this key here and take a look at what each one of these organelles do in the body. Like I said before, they do different jobs that keep the cell working properly and therefore your systems. Okay. And here's the other half of the first question. And it's relatively short, So, okay, this is the impact that it has. If you have degenerative health, if you're nutrient deprived over time, it's going to impact your quality of life. You're going to lose your independence. It's psychologically devastating to the individual, already adding to this biochemical malfunctioning, all these increased stress reactions while you're in this inflammatory state, causing further degenerative health conditions. It's a snowball effect in reverse. It goes downhill fast. It's a psychological and emotional and often physical burden on family and friend or other caregivers, and it takes its toll on their health as well and their mental well-being. It's wearing. It wears down their capacity to want to give and to provide this care, when they themselves are becoming more and more fatigued. Elevates healthcare costs, it strains the caregiving medical system. and an unequal access to healthcare in lower income communities, the neighborhood disadvantages with their severe health outcomes. They don't have the money to go and get help, which is very sad. Healthcare costs, they cause economic strain, and as the stress of personal financial drains, many people have lost everything they own because of their medical bills. Adversely affects productivity, your morale, and energy levels in individuals. And even on a large scale, it affects the economy and the general state of a nation's wealth and morale.
So
Now,
this
finally,
is
the
going to
second
be a
question.
very interesting part. What are the warning signs? Like so many of us, and don't get me wrong, men, but men are the first ones to say nothing's wrong. Pay attention.
Right. Yeah, it's so important because if you let these signs continue, it could be life-threatening overnight. Someone can die, just in 1 minute. So you don't want this to come on and surprise everyone, you know. So if you're experiencing pain, then this is a sign that your body's in some kind of inflammatory response state, and it's a response to some kind of damage at the microcell level, unless you're, all right, injured. Uh, it leaves you more prone to injuries and slower healing times. If you have poor circulation, then your tissues are going to die. You're going to have infarctions and necrosis, being more at risk for acquiring various conditions. So these are the health issues that are so rampant in our civilization that I've had clients for, and all I did was put them on my nutritional synergy system and worked out, food choices. You don't even have to work out menus. I say, okay, here's the different categories. Now put together a meal, so we worked together and sat down and put together a meal. And my system is so easy to do that. You think, okay, it has 12 categories and two other extra categories that aren't food groups, but the 12 categories, it's hard to believe that, okay, I have to choose foods from every category for one meal, but you'd be surprised. It's not like you're having a lot of every single item in these categories, but they have the phytonutrients. I'm all about the phytonutrients. That's why I love the APLGO drops so much, because it's chock full of these phytochemical complexes that keep us alive and thriving. They aid the vitamins and the minerals. They aid everything, every system in the body, as you can see in the slideshow. But so yeah, these are some of the health problems that it's just a matter of nourishing the body and correcting the cell functions at the micro level, and tissues will be regenerated. Tissues will be repaired. DNA sequences will be repaired. Arteries will be cleared safely. Without causing these death-causing clots. Sleep problems will be corrected. With sleep problems, you have to have the sunlight so you can produce serotonin, which is converted to melatonin, which helps you sleep at night. It's pretty simple. Get enough sunlight and your length of sleep times will improve, or sleep quality. Even the eyes, a lot of times people think that eyes can't be corrected, but over time, the eyes aren't a life-threatening kind of situation. So people's visions are worsening. Now, if you're in front of a computer 16 hours a day for 47 years like me, then, my eyes are slightly fuzzy without my glasses. I don't even have prescription glasses. I get these at local drugstore. It's just enough to sharpen my vision. And if I didn't have such a highly nourishing diet, I'd probably have worse eye problems. But yeah, it's just a matter of eye strain kind of thing. But this can be, all of these things can be reversed. And of course, we're not doctors. We don't prescribe. We don't treat. We don't do all of those things that the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industrial complex has claimed as their own. So it's a fine line we walk, isn't it? When we see someone get well just by nourishing themselves, the doctors will say, well, my patient came in and they're doing much better. They're cured. Okay, who cured them? Not the doctor, right? But we can't say that, right? We cannot say that. Doesn't anyone out there who's new to APLGO, please do not go around and acting like you're a doctor, acting like you're prescribing these drops, because they're nourishment, they're nutrition. And the industries have not figured out a way to charge for food. So these are nutrients. Okay, these are whole food products. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring that up and make sure everybody understood that. Then if you are deteriorating like this, you're going to not be able to maintain your balance when you move around. You're going to have reduced muscle strength, especially if you can't exercise. Your connective tissues, your joints, your ligaments, your tendons are all going to degenerate. They're not high priority items in the body, you know. So you're going to also, all in all, reduce your overall coordination as you move about. And then you're going to have, of course, diminished physical strength, and energy levels are going to drop. Things are going to be more difficult to do in your life. You won't be able to perform in life. You won't be able to concentrate. Your memory is going to go. Learning impairments, increased incidence of illnesses because of impaired immunity. So all you need to do is nourish your body completely and correctly. Just choose from a huge array of all the different food groups that I outlined up here of whole foods, right? Don't cook them to death. Try to eat as many raw foods as you possibly can. Oops, I didn't go far enough, but you get the picture. You remember this chart this one right here.
Right.
So yeah, just review that chart and eat from that. Make your food choices. Eat plenty of raw foods. They're light energy, frequency active. So
Yeah.
that's all you need to do. Your body will do the rest.
And you basically told us how we can what can be done to slow down that progression and improve the quality of life. But I see you've got something there too. So
Yeah. Well, this is a great question.
no
I don't
surprise.
just.
Yeah. You know what?
It's
You
a
know what
good.
everybody's really interested in here. Now they know this is a lot of information here and what can be done to slow it. Well, you got to eat right. You've got to get all those nutrients in there, which this is what our people come in here and looking for. Which of our APL lozenges may help with some or many of these issues? Well, we hate to say this, guys, but all 19 of them.
Yeah.
No, we don't hate to say it. We love to say it.
Right.
And
I know.
apparently, I'm thinking too, and Tina and Kelly are there. Um, I think they actually lived on their drops for the first 3 days they were at Academy. So
I,
yeah, Tina's
I
shaking
almost
her head.
sprayed I took a gulp of water. It almost left my mouth. But,
Yeah, so you can
you can
literally live
survive,
on these
if you
for,
had to.
for a short period of time. Yeah. Or I don't know. Can you live on these for a long period of time?
No, you need protein, you need
Okay. Okay.
the high water content food, you need the fiber, and you need all these other things that Whole Foods
Okay.
offer. Yeah.
So you heard
But
it
yeah,
straight from Mary Esther Gilbert. Don't just live on drops alone.
but they will go a long way, your body will start wasting weight because of lack of protein in the diet. But
That's true.
your
Yeah.
a lot of the vital functions will be taken care of for a while. So, if you got caught somewhere and you had a lot of the drops with you, then you'd survive. You would.
Mhm.
You'd have energy, kind of thing.
So
But
go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So what can be done to slow progression and improve quality of life? So it's a short summary, really, a couple of sentences just to summarize everything. You have to make sure all the systems are functioning properly, because if one system isn't, then the rest of the systems have to gather their forces together and their resources to try to help that system heal itself. So it's a net deficit, of energy and capabilities to heal itself. So, all the aforementioned components if you want a properly functioning system. So prevention is the most important, obviously, understanding that the body, when it's completely and correctly nourished, it has the capacity to restore itself back toward normal functioning.
All of that is just amazing. Now, everybody get your pen and pencil out. Sharpen
Well,
that pencil. There's more.
well, yeah, this was a good place for me to. I kind of jumped the gun earlier, but this link goes to my YouTube channel that has the video of these slides that I showed everyone. So,
Oh,
you can
good.
watch the whole video, or you can start in. Let me put it on pause here. Okay. Yeah.
Is,
Um,
is that also on holisticchoices.com? Would it be?
no, it's not. It's on my
No.
YouTube
Okay.
channel.
Okay.
So that's the link that I provided on this document here. That's the link to the YouTube channel of this video that I'm showing you right here. So this is the video, right? Yeah, this is the video.
All 19 drops. Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
it
that.
has 18 drops because that was before the LFT came along. But
Oh, that's right.
yeah, I have a free download at my website. Let me go ahead and get out of this.
Can you throw that in the chat, maybe?
Yeah,
That link?
yeah.
That'd be
Let me
great.
do that. Let me
Because
go
I
ahead
just
and
realized I can't copy and paste from your image there.
right, exactly. Okay, so yeah, duh.
No, I knew
Um,
that.
yeah, of course you did, of course. Um, so if you go to the APL, holisticchoices.com is the main page. But if you go down to APLGO, it's our very own APLGO page. And so you can pull out previous documents we've been doing. I always post the current documents.
Look at that,
Um,
folks.
I think I put, yeah,
Every
these are,
everything is there. Your
yeah.
your your slide there looks like my team page. Yeah,
Yeah, so this PDF will be posted right after the last, one back in June.
thank you.
So it'll be today's date with your name there too. And
Oh,
so they can just click on that and they'll see this link and they can go to the YouTube channel. Or you can just
thank you.
go to my own YouTube channel, type my name in the YouTube search box, and my name will come up, my YouTube channel will come up. So just go to the regular
That's
YouTube.
yeah.
If you can't, yeah, if you ever want to find me, just type my name in anywhere.
Mhm. And
Goes
she's the
right to
first
my
one that
stuff.
comes up. She's always the
Yeah.
first one that comes up. There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, right there. And you have to scroll through all the 160 videos that I have so far, but
Go
but you'll
go
find
to
it.
the
And that
just go to yeah, go to her channel and subscribe and you'll see all that stuff there. And
yes.
so did you want to actually the which of our APLGO lozenges that pretty I don't know if you had something to say about that. I mean you've got a whole video about that. Did you want it because we're running short of time here?
Yeah.
Did you have some?
No,
Yeah,
that's why I showed it to you
that's it.
earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
this will suffice to answer the
okay.
question. Yeah.
Excellent. And then the resources and support that's available. You have a book that is out that you have everybody just wants to see that, hear about it. All the resources that you have are phenomenal. What Mary Esther Gilbert can have you do. I have literally had the ability, and I just love this. I don't do it very often. I used to, but would contact you on Messenger and say, "Hey, I've got this real serious situation here. What do you suggest?" And bam, you're like right away. Your knowledge is I don't know where you pull this in from constantly, but it just pops right up like that, and you're so helpful. And I just thank you for that. All of us enjoy the fact that we have you pretty much at our fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rare that I can't answer right away. I try to answer it right away. Sometimes I am caught with
You've
other.
been very
Yeah.
good to us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my
Mhm.
honor. I want to help humanity get well, and this is a perfect place to do it. So I
Yeah,
welcome the questions. It might take me 24 hours, sometimes a little more to get back to you, but I try to do it right away. Yeah. And I want to make sure that I don't give pat answers. Sometimes I need a little more information. So, if someone can give a little bit of a background briefly on the messenger, then, or they can fill out the contact form on my website,
that's what I
and
was
do
getting
more.
at. And the
Yeah.
next thing that you do is you give them the resources and it's connecting with you and setting up an appointment, which is fine because over I mean just the first year that actually the first couple months that we got to know you, we knew you were the go-to person. We knew that. And it hasn't changed. And I just got goosebumps saying that.
Well,
So
writing the book really helped because it turned into this monster of a book. But I wanted to do it right because I knew I was the only one in the world who who did this undertaking of providing the science behind these amazing drops. And so I wanted everyone to be successful and be credible and not have any government entity say, oh, you can't do that and you can't say that. Well, this is what the science says. And their own laws state when you present the scientific data behind what claims you're making, then it's what they consider acceptable, kind of thing. So I wanted to have
exactly.
that tool for everyone. kind of
You
thing.
have made it so much easier for us not to get so much pushback because we were getting a lot of that before in the industry for decades. And to be able
Yeah.
to have something that is backed by research, scientific research, holistic research from you has just been tremendous for all of us. So use Mary Esther Gilbert any opportunity that you get. It's all in her book, and I think we have that up on here as well, right?
Yeah,
The
I'll show you in a
Yeah,
moment. Yeah.
holisticchoices.com,
Yeah,
to be able to
absolutely.
go in there and get that. So was there
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to share with us tonight? Go ahead. There you go. Look at that information will be on the PDF that you put on the next file, right?
You're right. Yeah, you can click on these
Okay, good.
links and explore what the scientists, did for a lot of the information that I got. A lot of it was my own knowledge that I just pulled out of my head. But here's the APLGO reference nutritional health guide, second edition. Doesn't have the LFT, but like I said, you can go to my website on the APLGO page, which is here, and you can download the LFT right there. It'll give you the PDF
Okay.
document just like that. You can print that
Yeah.
out, save that to your computer and whatnot. So yeah,
So
this is
Mary Esther, guess what? We actually have time for some questions if somebody has them.
Yeah, I would love that. Please do. Oh, by the way, can I say something real quick? I wanted to say
Oh,
that if
please.
you have more intensive story or questions, and you send it to my contact page on my website, there's a link for that. You can find it. And if it gets more involved, of course, you can request a consultation. I stopped doing those for a while, and I don't know if I should offer them again because it takes quite a bit of time, but I really want to help people get well. So I'll have to make the time. So if you really want to be a client of mine, then I give 50% discounts to APLGO uh, associates.
Wow, that's incredible. That's not amazing. That's incredible.
Well, I retired my practice, 15 years ago, but sometimes, someone asks for a consultation. So I just don't want to deprive people of the intensive kind of information that I gather on an individual basis for their individual needs kind of thing.
Mhm. And we have several APLGO people that have taken on your services, so we really
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, bye.
absolutely.
I like your city there. That was neat.
I gathered really interesting photographs from my background on my computer. I have a full range of different things on it, and I
It's
kind of thought that
coming,
was
folks.
cool.
It's
Yeah, here's
coming.
another one. It's this whole slideshow. I keep adding to it as time goes on.
But does anybody have any questions? This was absolutely amazing. Anytime
Good.
we have the opportunity to bring you on, which really anymore is once a month, we get all this good information and we also get to have it in PDF form so we can go back to that. So if you guys go back to her YouTube page, her website, and see all those in basically chronological order, you can pick
Mhm.
up even more information. For those people that like to go down the rabbit hole, there's a good one. There's a really
Yeah,
good one.
yeah, and I always post our videos on my YouTube channel. I post other, videos on that channel too. It's a whole education. You'll know more than any medical doctor out there. You'll know more than, anyone with advanced degrees in, I don't know, I wouldn't say you'd have to be a biophysicist who has been studying the human body for decades, like I have. Sometimes I wonder if I should apply for an honorary degree in some of these colleges because I always compare myself to what they say, and oh, I knew that. Oh, I know that. Oh, that contradicts a lot of scientific research. I can pick out the holes in what they say. So, I'm thinking, what am I doing? I should go back to school and get a PhD. I was going to,
This
but the
is
school that I,
this is what we love about you. This is exactly
yeah,
what we love about you. You're always wanting to learn more. It's
oh, yeah,
never enough.
never enough. The human body
Yeah.
is amazing, and there's continuous research on it. People need to know this. They need to master their health, like the Institute says. But I don't see the chat. Is there other questions?
No, I didn't see any questions in there either. So apparently you've done a very good job. And
Okay.
knowing that we have that information to go back to, I just want to thank you so much for giving us your time today. I know how valuable that is. And I hope you're experiencing really good weather down there in Tucson. It's been raining up here in Alaska for quite a few days now. I think I saw the sun Saturday and got out on my paddleboard, and my arms are feeling
Oh,
it. So,
I think about you in Alaska sometimes, wondering, if you have sunlight right now or not. But yeah,
oh,
it's
it's
been in the
24/7.
hundreds.
It's light
Yeah,
24/7, but the sun
right.
coming out, that's another story.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it's
Yeah.
been in the hundreds here, but now this
Hmm.
week we've had some rainstorms. I love the thundering and lightning in Arizona. They're spectacular, and it cools it down for a bit. So we're in the 90s and 80s right now.
Yeah. I really appreciate you. I think all of us on here can give Mary Esther Gilbert a grateful applause. And we will be looking forward to your information on the website, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again soon. We love you so much. Thank you,
Same
everybody, for
here. I
joining
love
in
everybody.
today.
I love you all. You're all so wonderful. Thank you so much. It's my honor,
Thank you
really.
so much. Mhm.
All
Thank
right,
you,
everybody.
everybody.
See you later. Bye, Sherry. Thank you.
Bye, Mary Esther.